Today we're going to be talking about this absolute beast of a lens. This thing, first off, not only does it look huge, this probably weighs about 3 to 4 pounds. Also, I don't know if you can find a filter for it, but that's a conversation for later in the video. If you're new here, my name's Finn Badgley. I'm a commercial fashion and portrait photographer, and I recently picked up this lens to do some shoots with. This is rented. I did not drop like $4.5 grand on this bad boy, which is what it does cost if you live in Canada like I do. So, after playing around with this lens, how is it? And most importantly, if you're looking at picking this guy up, is it worth it? Is it worth the enormous price tag for this, frankly, enormous lens? I use this for the typical style shoot I would do, taking photos of a model in various settings. Some were backlit, some I was using flash for, some was inside, some was outside. I also took some additional photos with it just to see what it could do and ultimately if this lens would be right for me for future projects and to let you know if this is right for you as well. So let's get into this. This is the 28-70 f2, not the f2.8, the f2. Now, since the release of this, because it has been out for a couple years, they've also released the f2.8 version. It's not the L series, it doesn't have the red ring, but it does also cost $3 grand less than this does. So is this worth the price difference? I will, quite frankly, have to get my hands on the newer 28-70 f2.8 to do a direct comparison between them. But based on what I've seen, this is a fantastic lens. And if you need the extra 2/3 of a stop that the f2 would give you from a zoom, then maybe this is right up your alley. The only thing I will say is you're going to want to work out if you're planning on carrying this around all day. If you have a long shoot day, you better be doing wrist curls, you better be doing something because your arm is going to be killing you by the end of this. I like to do this thing often. If I don't have an assistant on whichever shoot I'm on, you'll often see me, I have the camera down low because I like getting that perspective, and I'll have a flash like a strobe held up above, wirelessly triggered. And then having this on the camera at the same time, you notice it pretty quickly, and your forearm, like, you're either gonna look like Popeye by the end of it, or you will just, your arm will be dead. It is not for the faint of heart. However, looking at the images you get out of this, it is a fantastic lens. Looking at it, I'm not always one to shoot wide open, so I was hesitant about shooting at f2 a lot, but I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna get the honest truth about this particular lens and tell it to all of you, I have to use it wide open because that is when more lenses are going to show their flaws. A lot of lenses don't perform the best at wide open, which made me nervous about this at f2. But I can confidently say this is surprisingly sharp. I mean, from the front element and being the price that it is, I would hope that it would be. But looking at the photos, I was definitely surprised. And after using this for a couple shoots, I understood why it has the price tag it does. For one, it's absolutely huge. There's all the movement inside of it. It also, being the new RF mount, it does have the control ring. Also, just listen to that sound. It's actually kind of satisfying. I like it. Unless you're shooting video, in which case you'll probably hate it. I did use this lens for both photo and video. The only thing is if you're a video shooter, it doesn't have built-in stabilization, so I had to rely on the camera body for that, or you'd want to be putting on it on a gimbal. If you put this on a gimbal though, know you're going to have to counterweight your camera very heavily because this will make your setup very front heavy. So just keep that in mind if you're somebody that shoots a lot of video. The other thing that I found is I really like to use a 24 to 105. I'm actually looking at picking up the 24 to 105 2.8 and doing a bit of a comparison against this. It's not going to be the most direct comparison because there's almost two different use cases, but those are the two that I could see myself going with from Canon's current RF lineup. And this way I can show you, if you're in the same boat as me, which one you might want to go with. I'm also somebody who will ruminate on a decision like this for a while. So having these reviews gives me not only something to come back to, but also give you my thoughts as somebody who is a working professional. And I'm not sponsored by any particular camera brand, so I'm not gonna always have the latest and greatest camera, because working professionals, we're pretty slow to upgrade. We get a camera system, we learn it like the back of our hand, and we use it until we pretty much break it. So with that said, when I eventually do upgrade down the line, I kind of already want to know going in what I'm going to go with. And sometimes it's also fun to test out new gear, because also if I have a job that requires different equipment, whether somebody requests it, whether that's just the limitations of what they need, then that's also where I would rent something like this, something like a different camera body, and so forth. I do this pretty often with video shoots or with commercials where, you know, we have a full camera package that we rent out, we prep it, it's a whole thing, but that's a video for a different day. So back to this lens. Sometimes it's not quite wide enough, and other times it's not quite long enough. Maybe this is me being spoiled by being used to the 24 to 105. And yes, I've used the f4 a lot, so I don't always have the 2.8 readily available. And the extra stops in the aperture are nice, but I do miss being able to punch in that little bit more, and I didn't think I would notice those extra 4mm on the wide end, but I kind of did a little bit. I wish I could just be a touch wider sometimes. And somehow, apparently, those 4mm make a difference. Who would have thought? But I digress. The one thing I will say with a lens like this, I was nervous about when you're kind of carrying the lens and the front element will start to pull down. This does not have that happen, which is great. And even if it did, it does have a lock, so it won't do it anyways. Or if you just, you know, have it off to the side hanging as you're shooting. If you have like two bodies, something like that, it does keep it from getting long, swinging around and then having this expensive lens damaged. But ultimately, after using this, seeing the quality out of it, is this something that I would justify for myself? Looking at Canon's current lineup, I think I would have to test some of their other offerings in the RF line to fully say for sure. This lens is honestly a dream to shoot with, and I don't really mind the weight. I could see on a really long shoot day it getting harder initially. If you're somebody who you don't have as much upper body strength, or you just, you know, if you're shooting now and your hand cramps after a while, maybe this isn't the right lens for you. Maybe you would want to look at something more like a traditional 24 to 70 and forego the extra, you know, 2/3 of a stop of light that you're going to get out of this. This isn't like a 1.8, it's not a 1.4, it's almost a 1.8, so it gets you close to that. But is that 2/3 of a stop going to make the difference for you? Is it going to justify the additional $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 price tag that comes with this? Ultimately, that's for you to decide, but this has been a dream to shoot with. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up for myself. Again, I have to do more tests, but I can say I would recommend it if it fits within your budget. If you want to see more lens reviews from me, I'm going to do direct comparisons against this one, more camera reviews, photography related videos, then subscribe if you haven't already. I'm also going to be sprinkling in a little bit of lifestyle content and a little more look into my life beyond being a photographer. But if you want to see any of that, make sure you subscribe. Remember, as always, to work hard, rest often, and I'll see you on the next one.